Live. Everybody's mic on. Try your mic on this now.
Test, test.
Okay.
We're good. All right, it's 7 o'clock. We open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on our meeting tonight is our consent agenda, regular meeting minutes dated May 11th, 2026, special meeting minutes May 11th, special meeting minutes May 18th, monthly bills in the amount of $156,630.35, and our treasurer's report.
I will make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 11th, the budget workshop minutes of May 11th, the special meeting minutes of May 18th, the monthly bills in the amount of $155,747.60, and acknowledge the treasurer's report. And there is a difference in the monthly bills because there are two things that we want to just confirm. So I want to pull those out.
Support.
For now.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support to accept the consent agenda. Any other board questions, comments, discussion?
Are we going to discuss the bills before we approve it? The difference of the,
Yeah, I can grab that. If you look at your checks, on page 1 of 2 at the bottom, there is a plumbing inspection Association of Michigan for $300. I don't believe, we want to clarify, I think somebody applied for us to reimburse this and pay for this. I don't know that that is correct. So we want to further check on that. And then also a check, there was a request for a reimbursement for $582.75. This person is allowed, we pay for training for this person for a conference one time a year. So we want to clarify that this is the correct conference that we should be paying for. So those are the two things. So it's basically
$882.75.
that's exactly it. Yes.
so we're at 155 and change then?
155, 747.60.
Okay. Good. That's all I had.
That's it? That's it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I oppose. The motion carries. Our report section, Fire Department, Don Smith.
Okay, with any luck at all, we all have a copy of my our runs continue to stay up in the 40 range, side for us. Fire 17. If there's anything I can answer, any questions, I'd be happy to do that. One turned firefighter, passed all his state exam with fire and color, so he's on his way.
That's great.
Congratulations on that.
Did you respond to the big fire? Really? Okay, that looked like that was really
It was a mess.
catastrophic.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Okay, glad everybody was safe.
Yeah, it was just basically a large disaster. I mean, loss of life other than the firefighters risking their life. It
Right.
was pretty slim because of where it was located and what it was, but what a mess.
Yeah, I had heard today that a couple of trucks, not our trucks, got damaged with some heat there a little bit just because the wind just picked up and took the fire. I guess it took 13 minutes to go from nothing to fully engulfed.
Well, if you think about a pallet,
Oh,
a pallet in 80-degree weather,
Yeah.
how well does that work? And there was stacks of them.
And cardboard too. Isn't there just bunches of cardboard up there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You have an assist with LA City then, too?
Oh, yeah, we've got a couple in this this round.
Busy.
We did get the dumpster pad straightened out now.
Oh, good.
So in 2 more weeks, we'll be able to open that up, put the dumpster back inside. We're still fighting for the more guys to try to get a reasonable door price. Other than that, it's too damn low.
Yes, sir. Good job, Don.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Don. Police Department, we have quite a packet here tonight from our law enforcement officers. We've got the Clemens report. We've got a report from Isaiah on his investigations, goals, and accomplishments. You also have a SRO report. Any questions, comments, concerns from the board? Reference our police department.
I noticed that we had a letter that was sent out to one of the medical marijuana.
Yes,
So my question is, are we following up on all of them?
on all of them.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
'Cause I think-
That's the first one. We've got 7 total, Rick. So that's the first one. And Don, were you involved in that one the other day?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd that turn out?
Well, we got canceled, that they were moving out of the house, there's no longer a road operation there. Okay. So we're on to the next one, I heard from Mike on that, it has, should be sometime next week.
So when those permits expire, then it should move to the new ordinance that you're only allowed to do that in industrial.
Industrial areas, that's.
So that one would be done for good. And I think there's one on Scotch Settlement that's no longer growing as well.
That would be the goal.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
The one on Scott Settlement though isn't illegal,
The legal one that's further down past Barb's place.
It's for sale now.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody ever did live there.
no, but they were growing in the barns and in the house.
Okay, no questions on the police report? Our assessor report? You all have a copy of Andrew's report. And I want to say, I think Andrew's doing a great job of his assessing details. Kim, you were working with him today. Did you guys, were you able to?
Yep, we are balanced and taxes are being reviewed by the county, and as soon as we have the thumbs up, we will get those over for printing. But we are balanced with assessing.
Our OEO report, should all have a copy of the field sheets as well as the chart or the graph that Clayton puts together every month.
Gary, I have one question on the assessor.
On the assessor.
Yeah, under current future projects and everything, 4 bullets down, sketch new constructions from building plans, you know what that is?
I think what that is, when he's talking about sketches from new construction from building plans. Square footage,
From like Minecraft.
yes.
There's usually a drawing, like if you go into BSNA.
Yeah.
There's a drawing and maybe a facade picture.
You got a lot of those looking at.
Yeah.
Park board,
Well, I would just recommend we defer to item 4 under the new business. Just go with that.
I'm sorry?
Just defer to the park board report. So item 4 under new business on the budget. I think that the summary will qualify as a report. And we talked about the park board budget.
Right. That whole thing is still a work in progress, so.
Yes.
Right. Any questions, comments on the park board? Okay, that wraps up the report section. Public comment, anything from the public tonight? Yes, sir. Could you step up to the podium?
Jeff Michael, 6340 Great Oaks Trail. You guys just mentioned these permits for the marijuana, grow houses, medical marijuana. And you said once they expire, they're forced to go into the industrial area? Is that what you just said?
We had passed an ordinance after what was already put in place by the state. We had passed an ordinance that in order to grow for caregiver or medical marijuana, you needed to grow in industrial. So the ones that were in place were grandfathered in as they drop out. It would be my assumption, and that is an assumption.
So there is no renewal on their permit?
No, they can renew, but once they're.
If the renewal expires without them approaching us.
I gotcha.
They're done.
I gotcha.
And I think in the two instances we were talking about, one was on Mackey Road and one on Scott Settlement, both of them were sold, the land.
Okay.
So that's a.
So then the new owner would have to start over, which they would not be allowed it because it has to go to industrial.
Right. Okay, so these permits can be renewed every year.
It's
The original ones.
As long as they meet the requirements.
Grandfather.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks like we had 7, we're down, well, probably be down to 5, and who knows as we go on.
Kind of looking at the one on Sand Hill,
Right,
right around the corner
There's
from
a lot of
us.
people looking at that one.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
for more reasons than legal.
Yeah, I think there's other neighbors that have approached me about it. and
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
I think in the
do we
renewal,
look into that at all, or
well, in
how does that
the
function?
in the renewal, don't they have to go out and re-inspect? I don't know, Don, you would.
Police department and the fire.
Police department and the fire department, if something's not, they're allowed to do so many plants per.
And the building department.
Yeah.
3 of them. go.
Yeah,
So that's a total property inspection, interior house and everything?
And they have to live there as well. If they're
That's
not
another-
living there,
That's another issue.
That's correct.
Right.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Hopefully that's, depending upon a person's.
if you have any insight on something that's not right, come to the township and let us know. That'd give us a little something to go off.
Well, the whole thing hasn't been right from day one. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in that area knows that, so. All right,
It's being worked on.
all right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anything else from the public?
Hello, most of you know me. I'm Mindy Steffler. I'm from Almont Village Council and the Park Board. I know you're going to be talking about the park budget tonight. I'm here to lend support for Dennis, help answer any questions you might have to improve our parks. And I hope that you will take a careful look at what we've proposed and support our community parks. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's okay. I don't know how this goes. So, my name is Mary Lawrence. I live on 8332 Huff Road, our most favorite road in the township. I live on the east side of M53, and 8332 and 8358 are at the lowest point how the water runs down, the incline goes. I know we had a rough winter. I know that we had a really bad spring, everything being cold. I mean, these semi-trucks are going down 70, 80 miles an hour. Can we put like a speed limit or something for them? Because I watch them right in front of my house on Leah, and we're on the corner house there. I mean, they're flying, and it destroys our road. And it cost me $2,000 in struts. My next door neighbor, and she just had to get all her wheel bearings done. We have to drive 10 miles an hour because of the big potholes, and I don't know what the budget calls, if you can get any more gravel. Beer County has to deal with it. I've always dealt with the supervisor. You are who I spoke to, Gary?
I'm Gary.
I talked to you
and I
2 years
spoke.
ago, and you were gonna clean all the culverts to kind of help out, never did. Last year, we were gonna do the same thing, never did. And then this year, I'd like you to come out, at least clean out the culverts, because we have like an ice skating pond.
He's talking about driveway culverts or
It's
crosswalks?
the water, but because of the field that's next to us, there's no ditch. And we found out who the property owner is, but, they rent it out for farming. So all the water just comes like into, we can't cut grass or anything, we just started to be able to cut our grass halfway down the front. So, that's our biggest concern, but my main thing is that, the way that, to keep the roads, they're nice right now, at least you can drive them, you don't worry about it so much, except for, grading it. But maybe if we could do a speed limit somehow, maybe
Well, the
that.
private facial limit's 55 miles an hour, but, so far as the semis are saying they're exceeding it, yeah, we can have the police department go out there and.
Yeah, be
You know.
great. You'd see at least, they can get about 5, 6 tickets in from noon till 5.
Noon till 5.
Because there's a lot of building going on past that settlement, to the west, to the east. And I everybody says, I shouldn't ask, but why can't we have a light at Huff and at 53? Because I know our traffic backs up going into Almont. But just like any other city, like Hall Road's a nightmare, 23 miles a nightmare, can't you time a light or something so that it's safely for people to make a left-hand turn? And
Almont Township went down that avenue, that's up to MDOT.
Right.
The Michigan Department of Transportation,
okay,
because that's a major highway.
okay,
Also too, that you want to talk about gravel. Huff Road is slated to get limestone this summer in the month of July.
okay,
So you're getting,
yeah,
I think, 4,000 ton of limestone.
Great.
In that mile and a half.
good. That would be great because,
And the place that you're talking about, there's a new house that sits way back
Yep.
in, you're east of that,
yes,
where they put the driveway in the woods.
yes,
Is there a culvert in there?
no,
There should be a culvert in there. That's gonna cause a problem. So I think maybe what we do, if we get a hold of Jason, we'll go out and look at that.
yeah. And if we clean the culverts on both of our neighbors, because I feel so bad for the Flozaks, they're just like flooded.
Yeah, I went down there the other day and I noticed that driveway was just a bunch of broken concrete and whatever.
Yeah.
It was pushed in there. I don't know if there's a culvert,
He
but
covered it with dirt. He's an excavator, the guy that has.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he cleaned it up, he's trying his best, I was hoping maybe he'd kind of put some rocks somewhere since he is an excavator.
Right.
But it was just about the light, and then I heard talk about the police department only gonna maybe leave us in the township and just only stay in the village, or is it? No. Okay,
We're here for 3 more years.
good.
We have
Okay.
a police department.
Yes.
Well, you worry about that stuff. I would hear that, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Now you don't have a police? So, I see them still drive down, and I see police around, so I'm thinking maybe they took over. So, it was just somebody that told me that thought they know everything, so.
There was some controversy going on
Yeah.
for a while. but-
Well, it's great to hear about the limestone, I appreciate that, but I don't know about the light issue. We'd have to go with the road county, come up with Lapeer.
No, the state of Michigan.
State of Michigan.
Yep. The state, and they have gone out and done a study out there, and it doesn't warrant it. That was the last that we had heard.
They won't warrant it?
There wasn't enough traffic, I believe, or
Oh,
something.
really?
Whatever, I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, okay. Yeah, you hold your breath as you turn left.
Well, you just go in front, they all got brakes.
Yeah, well, they're not nice people either when they have
I
escalators
know
and
it.
stuff though too, so. Okay, thank you very much.
Is it Mary?
Okay, Mary,
Mary, could you,
yeah, you and I have talked many times.
yes, could you give me your phone number up here
Sure.
so I can call you?
I
We'll
want
try to get out there tomorrow.
Right now, I can write it down. Take it right down.
Oh, you, yes, I'm ready.
586-216-2432. All right, appreciate
Call you
it.
in the morning, Mary. All
Okay,
right.
thank you so much.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to old business. Mike, Chris has got something he wants to discuss with the board that was brought up last month.
Yeah, so,
Reference building department rent. So Mike, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
yeah, there's 3 different items that we probably need to talk about. First off, the building department rent. So you guys remember last year, under the assumption that any surplus that the building department developed, that could be swept, essentially financially swept over to the general fund account. And we said, well, then why are we charging rent? If the surplus goes over to the general fund, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, we did a lot of research on that, found out that's not the case. So the money stays in the building department fund. Part of the state law, it's Public Act 230, says that you cannot essentially accrue money in a building department fund unless it's to be used by the building department activities. Also, the building department has to be self-sufficient in terms of paying for itself. It's a for-fee service, unlike the police department is funded by tax dollars because it's an essential service. So they have to pay a rent as part of their total cost structure. You can't get exorbitant. You can't, say, okay, we're going to make it, what's the balance? That's the rent. It doesn't work that way. It has to be something that you can defend. I talked to 2 different realtors. I looked online, did as much research as I could. A reasonable rent in this area for office space is about $1 a square foot a month. Pacing off the size of the building department, it's somewhere between 600 and 650 square feet. Okay, so you're looking at somewhere in the ballpark of $600 a month would be a defendable rent to charge the building department, all in for utilities, Wi-Fi, heat, water, the whole bit. So if we don't do that, my fear is we are clearly in violation of Public Act 230 because you're asking taxpayers to fund a for-fee service that could be done by them or a contractor or anybody else, and you're giving them a marked advantage by underwriting that cost for them. We can't do that. So I said last month, I think the budget, or not the budget, the income statement should probably reflect a $600 a month rent. And I leave that up to you guys if that amount is good or bad or reasonable. I know there's rent being paid by the DDA right there in the village office. One of the realtors I spoke to had another office not far from here, and it was pretty much the $1 a square foot per month. So I think we're safe in that range, but I think we need to consider that. The other 2 items, you got a document here that was it was for the building department. It talked about kind of the operational guidelines. And one of the statements in there, what we had said was that they are independent contractors. Okay, so based on the test for what is an employee versus what is a contractor, and in talking to the attorney, he said, these guys are contractors. Come in 1 day a week. You don't supervise them. You don't provide them their materials. You don't give them, performance reviews, none of that stuff. They're an independent contractor. We have another document that went out that said, no, these guys are employees. So there's some disconnect in terms of what we classify them as. Okay, are they a part-time employee or are they an independent contractor? The final item had to do with, on this document, originally when it was prepared, we had, and a lot of us had, I kind of sampled a few people here on the board. A reinspection fee is shown as being, let me go back. An initial inspection is $100. Okay, the township coffers or the budget gets 20% of that. The inspector gets 80%. If there's a reinspection, it's the same exact cost. The rules say that you really can only charge what it's really costing you to do an inspection. And when somebody does an inspection, if they check 15 items and 2 of them fail, when they go back for a reinspection, they only check those 2 items. They don't go back and reinspect the whole house. So it felt reasonable to the building committee that you want your reinspection fee to be something less than your full inspection fee. Because they're going back and they're just looking at the 2 items that failed. This document was changed to show that it's still 100. I personally feel like the reinspection fee, we have to consider making it less than the initial inspection fee. Just the optics of it are not, they just don't look like we're being fair to the residents or the builders. So those are 3 things that we have to consider. I don't know if I have to do that by way of motion. I don't know. Probably have to have some discussion, but 3 open issues.
On that last one, I had a question.
Yeah.
When they do the reinspection, the 80/20, the whole 100% goes to the inspector, right? On the second?
They do the 80/20 again.
They do
from
the 80/20?
what I understand, yes. Yep. So what we don't want to do is you don't want to incentivize failed inspections, and you don't want to charge people for something that they look at and say, well, why am I, guy was here 10 minutes, he looked at my, my gutter, and that cost me $100. Just trying to be fair to the residents and the people that are building. It's the optics more than anything. So I leave that up to you guys. We can adjust it to $75 with the 80/20 split. We can go to the $50, 80/20 with at $50, we said 100% would go to the inspector. If we went to $75, we would keep with the 80-20 split, and it would be $60 to the inspector, 20 to the building department. But it's entirely up to you.
I am in favor of charging the building department that minimal rent amount, based on the fact that they have about $170,000 in their bank account. It's a good way to, bring us back into a better place financially, according to what the law says we need to do. And, maybe our inspection fees are too high with us, looking at a balance like this. Maybe that is something we need to talk about, at a later point. But I have no problem with, lowering that inspection fee with that and being, mindful of the balance in the account.
Part of the reason, Kelly, is they're very busy back there, so there is more money coming in.
There is,
So far as the inspection fee issue.
yeah.
But what was the flat rate you were suggesting for rent, Mike?
$1 a square foot a month, and I just estimated the square footage at about 600 square feet, and that was a paced-off estimate, so
Right.
I could be off, but it's close. And that would be, maybe just $600 a month, be $7,200 a year.
I think that's more than fair, because not only is that rent for the space, it also includes all the utilities and internet.
Yeah.
Copier use, all that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah, all in, that is a reasonable price.
And it's common.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
very common for townships to do.
I have a question. Kim, you said 171,000?
170,000, yes.
Are all the inspectors paid right now up to date then with that number?
Well,
Or is that gonna lower that?
This was effective 5/31, so it will be less than that based on the checks and everything that we issue to them. But there is more money
So-
coming in based on
Okay, I
the
get it.
weakening.
So what happens if we get into a situation, how's that money transferred to the township?
It does.
Doesn't.
Doesn't,
It doesn't.
It can't.
cannot.
For paying rent?
Oh, the rent does, yes.
Right.
The rent has
Correct. The
How do they pay for the rent?
balance, or the balance won't, that 171,000, that stays in the building department. The rent would get paid to us.
It would just be a journal entry.
Okay.
Pulling it.
Okay.
Then we
I'm just
don't
trying to
have-
understand this. And then what happens if we could, if what happens if this building bottoms out and they can't pay $600 rent? I'm just asking questions now before we get down that road.
I think-
We can always
right.
adjust it at another time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I just was trying to understand this and make sure everybody's on the same page, so.
I just think we have to closely monitor it if we see that building levels are starting to change. Maybe we'll have to look at that.
Okay,
So
Are you saying that it's state law that we have to charge them?
the state law says that a building department has to be self-sufficient. They don't have to be fully funded and profitable. In other words, if they can't bring in enough to cover their costs, the township does have the option to support them in some way.
Or even if we had to subsidize?
If we had to subsidize them, yeah. If you've got a very small township and there's nothing being built and you still got inspectors and staff, I mean, you could see where you could maybe run short. But the intent is, and the strong recommendation from MTA is, that they stand alone, and that should be all in.
Yeah, that's what they are right now, because it's not taxpayer money.
Right.
Right.
It's called an enterprise fund, and they have to stand alone. Yep.
That's good for Andy too, that I think we have to be flexible on that, because this, charging rent is not a management of budget, just because their budget's so large. Their bank account is so large, we should be charging rent. It sounds like that's not a budget management tool in my mind.
I think that's more of a legal compliance thing. We have to demonstrate to the taxpayers that they are not subsidizing a for-fee service.
As far as the other document goes, I am in favor of going with 75, if you're good with that, Mike. I know you had, and your logic makes a lot of sense to me. They're going out and they're looking at maybe 2 items when they were inspected 14 the first time. And they are contract employees, correct?
That's what we thought.
Well, I think that's what we got, both from the attorney and our.
And the
company.
insurance carrier, right?
Yeah, so we got that input from both of them. That document needs to be
But it got changed,
redone.
but it got changed. That's
So
another issue altogether.
Yeah, so there's another document here that states that they are employees, so we have to get those aligned. You can't, otherwise it's gonna be confusing, and then they are whatever they wanna be.
I'm good with the 75. We need to move forward, get this document fixed ASAP.
So can I make a motion at this
Yes,
point?
make a motion.
So I'll make a motion to impose the $600 per month rental fee on the building department, to reduce the reinspection fee to $75 for the fiscal year, the upcoming fiscal year 26-27, and to be clear in our understanding that these are independent contractors working on behalf of the township.
Support.
I have a question. On the, could you put a limit on the rent, like say to be reviewed after 1 year?
We should do this annually.
I'm just saying that let's look at that money and maybe we need to either lower or raise it.
Well,
I support that if you just put in there that to be reviewed annually.
Well, it has to reflect the true value of holding that space, and that isn't going to change that much.
Right.
Rent is rent. You know, if you're making money there, great. If you're not,
But review it annually.
yeah. And annually, we should review all of it. So that's the motion. Bonnie, I couldn't have made it any more complicated for your first motion. You're welcome.
Just don't tell me to read it back.
That was a support if you didn't hear that.
Okay.
Just
So-
one question, Mike?
Yeah.
On the $75, we're going 80%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that effective July 1?
Effective July 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got imposing a 600 fee on the building department, reducing the inspection fee to $75.
Reinspection.
Reinspection.
Reinspection fee.
To $75, which is the 80-20 split, and clear that they are independent contractors, and this is all effective July 1. Is that the gist of it? Okay.
Sounds like it. Does that sound right, Mike?
That's, she said it better than I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have support. Any further discussion? Let's do a roll call vote on this one, Bonnie.
Oh, bless your heart. Okay. Streeter?
Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry, I had to do Chris.
Yes.
Dodge?
Yes.
Streeter?
Yes.
Grosbeck?
Yes.
Eschenberg?
Yes.
Kraus? Yes. Swears?
Yes.
Here. Sorry, yes.
Motion is approved. All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Brings us up to new business. We've got 3 public hearings this evening. One for the police department contract special assessment. Secondly, the general fund budget. And thirdly, the fire fund budget. So, Bonnie, I will open the public hearing on the police special assessment. I'm showing 733. The purpose for the public of the public hearing is to allow the public to make any comments that they feel they may have on the amount of mills that we will levy for the new contract, okay? To explain it briefly, last year we had a $673, I think it was, $1,000 contract. 2.25 mills covered that. This year the contract went up to $735,000. Now, on the back of our police budget, Kimberly Streeter, our treasurer, came up with a taxable value of $275,095,234. That's the taxable value in the township only. So if we were to levy 2.7 mils, that would generate $740,057.13, which would cover the first year of the contract. The contract goes up each year. It's a 3-year contract, goes up 3%. We do have some information covering that cost as well. So for this year, we have to come up for the first year with an initial millage rate. So if there's any comments from the public, we're more than willing and wanting to hear from you. Reference the mills levy for police coverage at the township. So yes, sir.
Is that an affordable issue?
Is it affordable?
Are we voting on it?
Is it
Voting on that?
the board will vote on that, yes. The board votes on it. This is an informational session for the public, for the residents. After I hear from those of you who care to speak, then I'll close the public hearing and we'll go in with the board and you'll hear motions one way or another on the actual millage rate. Okay? And it will be decided this evening, yes. Anything else from the public? If not, we'll close the public hearing. I have 7:36, Bonnie.
Okay.
Okay. And we will open discussion with the board as to your feelings on this issue. So,
I just wanted to remind everybody, the public included, that a number of years ago, there was a vote, and the public did vote in favor of creating a special assessment district for this use, for the police to fund that. So we did vote, it was a long time ago, but now our job as a board is to look at it yearly and discern what we need to collect. And that's how we adjust the millage rate in order to cover what the bill is in the contract. So I hope that helps a little bit.
the board should have a copy of the police fund budget. If we do go with the 270, it would generate $740,000. Interest on that account right now, currently, according to our treasurer, is $12,000. Brings it up total revenues of $752,000 with a contract cost of $735,000, which we would have $17,000 excess of revenues at this point, which will be used on the next year's contract. Okay, that goes up 3%. So any questions, comments, concerns from the board?
How much did we borrow from the general fund to pay last year?
We did not have to borrow anything.
Okay, great.
Skated in.
But we will have to borrow in November.
We will not. We hopefully, because we pay the month following. So for instance, our November payment would be due in December. So tax funds start coming in December.
Right.
It'll be short. It won't be a large balance, but there will be enough in there. And then it always has had enough in there to cover that last check payment before the big money comes in toward the end of December. So I don't see a problem with it. I did the spreadsheet, and I feel pretty confident that we've got enough and we will not have to borrow funds from the general account. Again, we will be fine, I believe. Yep.
Is there a specific rate, or is that flexible?
Well, right now, we bank with Tri-County Bank. We get 4.25%, which is pretty stellar. And I used an example of 3% for the interest. So I think I went a little lower than what we could. I tried to be conservative without being scary conservative. So
I do have just two questions. If it's first off, are we is it appropriate to set a new millage? We don't have a contract approved yet, and I know we still are looking at it, and there were language changes that we got back from the village. So are we premature in setting a new millage rate when we don't have a contract that's been finalized? I don't want to do it out of order.
My opinion, okay, and this is just my opinion. We approved the contract on the face of the old contract. However, we approved also the new numbers, okay, of 735,000. That's what this public hearing is dealing with. 735,000 on a 3-year contract with a 3% increase. It's the board's pleasure. We got this contract late in the day on Friday. Okay, it was sent to Mr. Seabrook on Saturday or Friday, I think it was. He did make a few recommendations. Some are minuscule, okay, and in the last paragraph, you should all have it. If we are satisfied with the verbiage, he's okay with it. But I think for terms of a public hearing, we should at least approve the dollar amount for the contract, because that's not going to change.
Okay, I just
The
asking.
small talk could change.
Okay,
But that's just my opinion. It's up to the board.
and then I also wanted to know, do we have to, if this is a 3-year contract and it requires a public hearing every year, and I believe I ran through all the numbers that Kim put together, which by the way, she did a great job. The 2.7 carries it pretty much through all 3 years. Do we have to have the public hearing again next year to maintain the same level?
We do.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it was.
Yearly, we have to do that.
Okay.
And I believe that it would be appropriate to go ahead and set that millage.
Okay.
I mean, we handled that contract negotiation in good faith, and I know Mindy's out there. There's just a few little things in that contract. And I know that we're all trying to get to the end goal the best way possible, and I'm sure we can do that. Just a few little things, so I have no problem with setting the millage.
The other point of interest that I just want to mention, it goes back to what you just said, Mike, about the 270 carrying us through. Was talking to our assessor, and we've got 70 round figures homes, new homes under construction currently in our township. So I asked our assessor, I said, give me an educated guesstimate on what our taxable value will do when all those homes are occupied and sold. He says, you're gonna see about a $10 million increase in your taxable value. So that's more than gonna carry, I think, that 270. If it gets us through that 3 years, it might even take you beyond, based upon the taxable value increase.
Don't we get another bite at the apple next year,
So,
You do.
Right.
Yep.
right?
Mike, in the past, we had a surplus and we actually lowered that.
Right.
And we could do that again if the growth outgrows the
Takes off.
rate, then we would be able to lower this special assessment. So it's good to look at it every year.
Okay, those are my 2 questions.
So I guess I have a couple comments here. Number one is, we got this Friday, last minute again. Last minute. Has the village council seen this new one? Not yet. Okay? That tells me a lot right there. Who did this contract?
I have no idea.
Do you know who wrote this? Okay.
So in fairness, Mindy, I hate to have to talk to the audience, but when we made the motion, I was very deliberate to say in accordance with the terms of the previous contract, knowing that if there was a change, then we have to show it to our attorney, you have to show it to your attorney, and we play this ping pong game again. We got it back and there were changes. We said, okay, if it means enough for them to change it, now it means enough for us to send it to the attorney. I was surprised to see changes. I thought it would be the exact same language because we played that tennis match last year, finally got it settled, and so not trying to be difficult at all, but we were surprised.
And I think if the council would have a copy of the new one, they would understand where we are on this too.
So this discussion currently, the one we're in right now.
Yep.
Centers around the millage rate, which we need to focus on that. Down in new business, number 12 is the police contract. So at that point, it would be the board's pleasure, okay, to come up with a motion to authorize the clerk and the supervisor to sign that contract with the stipulation that we figure out this wording prior to that. Okay. Some of the wording changes went from should to shall. You know, some are a little more, you know, maybe important, but I think we can get through it. Okay. But so I want to focus right now on the actual public hearing and the millage, setting of the millage. Now we can get back to that discussion under the police contract. Are we satisfied with 270? I guess I'm looking for
I am.
opinions.
I just wanted to make one comment, just to let everyone know in the audience. You hear us talk about these millage rates and how does that affect you? So I came up with a table about a month ago as we were going through the negotiations. Just to use an example, a house with a $200,000 taxable value, so that would be half of the value had you moved in very recent. If you've been there a long time, your taxable value is going to be a lot less than half because of the cap. But say worst case, $400,000 house, $200,000 taxable value, you currently pay about $450 for police service. That's what you pay. It would go up to about $535, $540. So less than $100, about $8 a month is what all of this negotiation actually cost our residents. So that's how it's going to affect your house payment, your pocketbook, your escrow, all those kinds of things. About $100 on, and that's probably about a mean, as far as a $200 or $200,000 taxable value. Obviously, 100 would be half that. It would only be $50 for the year, $4 a month. So that's all I have.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I do have this resolution that I think Bonnie prepared. If you'd like, I can read that out so we know what it is. Excuse me. Whereas in 1997, the Almont Township Board established a special assessment district for police protection consisting of all the unincorporated area of Almont Township pursuant to a vote of the electors of Almont Township, and whereas pursuant to Public Act number 33 of 1951, the Almont Township Board has determined the amount of the special assessment levy for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. And now therefore, the Almont Township Board hereby proposes that the total assessment be set at 2.7 mils, which will generate approximately $740,057 in the special assessment district based on the 2026 taxable value estimated to be $274,095,234. Be it further resolved that the Almont Township Board hereby directs the treasurer to distribute the tax levy. That is my motion.
Support.
Okay, we have motion on the floor with support to levy a millage rate of 2.70. Any further board discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call vote, please. I'm sorry, Dennis?
Change the resolution from supervisor?
Yes, because the treasurer is the one who distributes the tax levy.
Thank you.
But that was you supporting that, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just heard a support from that area over there.
We'll do a roll call.
Okay. Streeter,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Grosbeck,
Yes.
Eschenberg,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Sweeps,
Yes.
Kraus, yes.
Okay, motion is approved. Second item on the list tonight, public hearing, reference our general fund. We will open the public hearing at 7:50 PM. And again, to the public, this is a budget breakdown, okay, of revenues to expenses. We have a tax revenue, general tax revenue of $503,440. State revenue sharing of $441,782, that's $441,782. Charges for services, $29,900. Interest on that account is $83,680. Other revenue, which I can enumerate, brings a total revenue package of $1,219,277. Okay. We have a total expenditure of $1,192,401. Excess of the revenue of $26,876. To give you a quick breakdown, governing body is $111,950. Supervisor's office is $41,435. Deputy supervisor, $14,000. Elections went way up this year, $101,900. Assessing contract, $60,900. Clerk's office, $65,207. Deputy clerk's office, $20,550. Board of review, $3,103. Treasurer's office, $59,000. Deputy treasurer's office, $17,980. Building and grounds is $41,200. Cemeteries, $31,700. Planning commission, $23,350. Zoning board of appeals, $2,465. The medical first responders, $29,611. Ordinance enforcement, $2,130. The planning and zoning administration, $13,960. The county drains, they bill us $14,000 per year. Street lighting is $10,000. Road maintenance is budgeted at $500,000. Parks and recreation, $27,960. That's the total of $1,192,401. And again, the excess of revenues over expenditures is $26,876. Is there any comments, questions, concerns from the public tonight on the general fund budget? Okay, if not, we're going to close the public hearing on the general fund budget at 7:53. And I'll open the discussion with the board on the general fund budget.
The copy of the Township General Appropriations Act that we have, on number 5, it said estimated revenues. The millage is 1.2611, and the millage levy says 1.2730. So I'm a little confused. I know that the millage rate went down a little bit for the general fund. Is that the 1.2611?
That went down, right?
Okay. So
1.2611.
then that millage levy on section 6 should be 1.2611,
That's
correct? Okay,
That's correct.
I don't,
okay.
The reason that the revenues
Looks
went
like
up
this.
was the taxable value.
Correct, there's an adjustment on assessing.
I didn't have it either.
not this one.
The newly proposed one.
Okay.
Any discussion from the board?
Are you looking for a motion, Gary?
I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion. I move to approve the Township General Appropriations Act, the Almont Township for fiscal year 2026, 2027 for the general fund
With the corrections.
with corrections as amended.
Dennis, you supported it? I did. Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support to accept the general fund budget for fiscal year 26, 27. Any further discussion from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Streeter?
Brent, directed,
No,
okay.
that's fine. I'm
Yes.
gonna vote no anyways.
Swears?
Yes.
Kraus? Yes. Grosbeck?
Yes.
Eschenberg?
Yes.
Dodge?
No.
Chris?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes item number 2, general fund budget. Item number 3 is a public hearing on the fire fund budget. So we'll open the public hearing at 7:56 PM. Fire fund budget, the taxes would, and this is for the public's information, the taxes generated would be $381,592. Interest of $15,000. The fund balance currently $562,254. Total revenues $958,846. Expenses, excuse me, administration $90,954. Firefighting operations $76,300. And other firefighting activities of $143,600 for a total expenditure of $310,854. Excess of revenues over expenditures is $647,992. Any questions from the public? Comments? Don?
I'm not rich, that's 600,000 by the next fire.
It's getting close though, right? What do you estimate the new truck would be?
1.2,
1.2, and how far out is that?
5 years.
5 years, okay. Thanks, Don. Anything else on the public? Okay, I'll close the public hearing on the fire fund at 7:57 PM. And open up the discussion to the board.
Fire fund is scheduled for 7:57 PM to 8:50.
Hey,
You have to love AI.
listen to it. Okay.
Well, I like how conservative you have been, Don. You've managed to put some money aside and looks like a fire truck is in our future and it will be paid for with cash.
I hope so.
That's awesome,
That's been our plan in the past, to take as much of that, not
right?
only buy the truck as possible.
Yep, that's awesome.
For the public's information, I failed to tell you what the millage rate is. It's been that way for quite a few years now. It's .9731 mils. Okay, .9731 mils. Okay, anything else from the board? Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the Special Appropriations Act of Almont Township for fiscal year 2026 to 2027 for the Fire Operational Fund as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support. Anything further? A roll call vote again, please, Bonnie?
Streeter?
Yes,
Chris?
Yes.
Dodge?
Yes.
Eschenberg?
Yes.
Grosbeck?
Yes.
Swears?
Yes.
Kraus? Yes.
Dennis, with your permission, I'm going to go to item number 5 and then we'll come back to 4. Is that okay? We have a Mr. Christopher Berkland here this evening. Christopher Berkland. Would you step up, Chris? Due to Bonnie being our new clerk, she had to vacate her position on the planning commission. And
It's my fault.
the chairperson of the planning commission, Kevin, came to see me in my office, recommended Mr. Berkland as a very qualified candidate for planning commission, okay? And I think we have a board member also that is familiar with Mr. Berkland, right? So, we have your application here, Mr. Berkland, and you're interested in the planning commission?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit of your background, other than maybe what's on here?
Well, as far as background goes, I've lived in Almont Township for 33 years now. Basically, I work in manufacturing. I'm a global supplier quality manager for a company called Walbro up in Cass City. I got a call from Kevin. He asked if I had an interest in it. My background's in quality, in data. I have a bachelor's in engineering, a master's in finance from Walsh. Been working with data a good portion of my career, so figured it would be helpful in this role.
Well, we'd be more than happy to have you join us in that endeavor. Any board members have questions for Mr. Berkland?
I do. What do you see the growth looking like for Almont Township moving forward? What would you like to see?
What I would like to see,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess the first thing to see is where things are with the long-term plan. I know it's a growing community. That's not going to change. I mean, I live in the country. I like it. We put up with the minor inconveniences of aromas and tractors and things like that. I'd like to keep some of that. I hate to see it all turn into a, Sterling Heights North or, not quite that developed. There's going to be some development along the way, and it's just making sure we do things in a rational manner and, put things in the right places so that whatever growth we do have is somewhat controlled. We're not putting big businesses in on top of residentials or, some of the new businesses, like you were discussing earlier with the marijuana grow. It's here. It's not gonna go away. But how is it controlled, and how do people take care of it?
Right, and you are very pro continuing education also, correct? With because there are a number of classes and there is always a lot to learn.
I have no problem with it.
Okay, great.
I'm a lifelong student, so
Okay, that's wonderful.
a couple more classes is natural.
Okay, and Joyce is your wife,
Yes.
correct? And Brian, and is your son, and our boys,
We're in Scouts together.
we're in
Went
Scouts
to school
together, and
Yep.
very fine young man.
Oh,
You have a wonderful, very lovely family, so I think he'd be a great addition, a very stand-up member of the community. So thank you, Kevin, for convincing him.
Well, we've been colleagues and friends for 30 plus years, worked together for 10 years. We have a very close, I don't want to say, we have a close relationship, but I don't want to say, we have a very similar work style, and we work well together.
Well, I would like to recommend Mr. Christopher Berkland to be appointed to
Gary?
the planning commission, but I would
Yeah.
entertain a motion.
So we had agreed a while ago that we would keep a running roster of candidates. Is that roster exhausted? There are no other candidates that we have on file?
There There's other candidates, yes, there are.
Why are we not saying
I'm
that
not
tonight?
saying that, I'm not saying that it's, there's some in there that are outdated, okay, let's put it that way, but there are other candidates.
Why are we not looking at those tonight? I don't understand. I thought we were going to keep an active list of candidates. Please, no disrespect or no
Not taken.
cast at you, but to bring us one candidate when there's others in the queue and to put them at the front of the line doesn't really leave a lot of option. I don't think that's appropriate.
Entitled to that thought.
I absolutely am entitled to that thought. That's not the way we agreed to do it.
Board's pleasure.
What's the term here? Is she fulfilling Bonnie's remaining term?
Yeah.
Bonnie, so
That would be the-
I don't know what her term is.
expiration was.
What's your expiration date, Bonnie?
Look on the bottom of your shoe.
Mine's.
I replaced somebody else.
Huh?
I replaced somebody else, so I don't know what that date is. Maybe the end of
So you
27?
caveat it by saying he would fulfill Bonnie's term. Is that correct?
What's that, Dennis?
We would caveat it by saying just he would fulfill Bonnie's remaining term. And at that point, look for another reappointment. Okay.
I would move to appoint Mr. Berkman to the planning commission to fill Bonnie's remaining term.
Do we have a motion
Support.
on the floor?
Support,
Mr. Berkland,
support.
we have support. Any further discussion?
I guess I would probably echo Mike's comment about we should be if we establish a process, we should be following it.
Well, I can respect that. He would be part of that candidacy list, okay? So I can't say necessarily that he would be denied that when he comes highly recommended. So that's what I'm going to stand on. But your comments are respected. So you have a motion on the floor with support. Let's do a roll call vote again, Bonnie.
Okay. Swears,
Yes.
Streeter,
Yes.
Chris,
All due respect, Mr. Berkland, no.
Dodge.
No.
Eschenberg,
Yes.
Grossbeck,
Yes.
Kraus, yes.
Okay, motion is approved. Are you available? What is Wednesday night? You have a meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Available
I've been
Wednesday
made
night?
aware of it. It's probably, yep.
Mr. Swears is our board liaison with the planning commission. But I'm sure he can fill you in Wednesday night on where we're at.
Welcome aboard. Looking
Okay.
forward to it. I imagine Kevin already filled you in.
Yep.
Forward Wednesday's package to him already. He doesn't have paper copy. He's done electronic copy. So, he's not walking in blind.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Berkland.
Thank you.
Okay, get back to the park board budget. We should have a copy, everyone, Dennis made us a copy of what's been going on with the discussions, reference the budget and other ideas about the park board. Dennis, I'm gonna turn it over to you, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I handed out, we kind of wrapped up the recommended budget from the park board last Thursday. I tried to pull everything together that the park board's been working on to get it out to you all on Friday morning. So you had a package with 6 attachments, and based on looking at the expenditures and the budget that Randy had put together, she's got a pretty thorough handle on the things that are spent over by the park board. I gave you the sheet, the expenditure sheet. It's clear to me in the past, both the township and the village provided about 12.5 each, and that covered basically the operational management of the budget to about, $25,000. Clearly, in the expenditures for the last year, it was up about almost 29,000, and there were some special things they did with the extra money we gave them last year for 17.5. But I think what we're looking at roughly is that the sustainment cost for the budget, or for the park, probably somewhere between $26,000 to $28,000. They did some special things last year with cameras and resurfaced or put some asphalt millings on the parking lot. So the funds that you had talked about, Mike, we had about a $150,000 balance about a year ago, as 1 July 25. And it looks like from Randy's, Randy being the village clerk.
Yeah, not him.
Not Randy Eschenberg. She's anticipating you're gonna be around 55,000 for the balance this year. So with the things that are coming up, the park board has recommended a budget the same as last year, a contribution from the township and the village at 17.5. With the sustainment and the things that are coming down the pipe, the things that we would like to do, there's some projects for this coming year. The ice rink is pretty much shot, and the shed storing the ice rink and the equipment needs to be replaced. There's little things like that they're going to incur cost. AY, I think you know that, Mike. AYDA is trying to use that ball field up there, and they want to enhance that project. Those are things over and above. I see as a sustainment cost coming at us. Music in the park, I gave you the schedule. That looked pretty good. We cut that back quite a bit this year. And we've received a significant amount of contributions, as you'll see on enclosure 3, which worked out pretty good. Hard work on the part of the volunteers on the park board. So the budget's going to have to make up some of the difference, even though we cut the schedule back. It's a very popular event in the park. In May of 25, I think it was Roberta that went out and looking at enhancing and replacing the current tennis courts with 3 pickleball courts and a basketball court. That estimate came in, and I gave you a copy of that at $212,000. So I think there was an attempt, maybe there wasn't, maybe you may know or not, whether there was an attempt to get a grant through the Michigan Department of Natural Resources.
It was through a private foundation.
Oh, okay, so there's been several attempts at grants. But I think,
Yes, it was a couple of years ago through DNR, private foundation. We just have not come up yet with an opportunity that would cover the entire cost.
So the 2 things that we would have that would help going forward with that grant was a 25% match that the grant would require from the state of Michigan through MDOT. By retaining the $55,000 in the budget and working off the 17.5 from the township and the village, you would be able to show good faith that the park board budget has the 25%. However, the 212,000, there seems to be some issue that's extremely high. So we're gonna take a closer look at doing that. I think the pickleball, the drawing shows 3 pickleball courts and a basketball court. We know the basketball court is being used. We have a member of the board that is a neighbor up there, and she knows that the basketball court, the little one that's there, it's about a quarter of a basketball court, is used almost every night. The other part of any kind of going after a grant is a 5-year master plan. The number 1 goal in the 5-year master plan is the pickleball courts, basketball courts. So we're also looking at the other 2 points here is the park manager's position. I think that would be a good thing to do. I think we've hammered that down to about seasonal hours, about 20 during the winter, or 20 during the summer, 5 months, and 10 hours a week in the wintertime for 7 months. And that's a work in progress. We're gonna have to monitor how that's done, how that's gonna work. And I've given you their job description, which is a work in progress. We're still working on that. And hammer that out with the village. And then our portion of that with the computers, insurance, and that sort of stuff would be about $10,200. So what I'm looking for tonight is the board to approve the 17.5 for park expenditures in accordance with the recommended budget that came from the park board, and also consider the job of the park manager approval for the park board to go forward and fill the position in accordance with the job description. And our part of that job would be about $10,200. You have all those sheets in front of you. Any questions? You know, we got the chair of the park board here, Mindy, to answer any questions that I can.
How many motions are you looking for, Dennis?
Well, I would think
It
that,
felt like you had a bunch of them.
I think the first one would be to approve the 17.5.
So-
The second motion would be to authorize the park board to move forward and hire a park manager. And then the third motion would be to authorize the township portion of that at $10,200.
So Dennis, if I understood, or Mindy, I don't know, whoever has to answer it. Last year, our typical donation amount was 12.5. They asked for an additional 5 from us and an additional 5 from the village.
Right.
They spent 4 of that 10,000 extra on the laundry list of, we have a broken window, we need more wood chips, we need better benches, whatever. When we gave that $5,000, I don't know that we envisioned it was going to go into their savings account. I would be just as happy if it was in our general fund. I personally, my personal opinion, I have no problem supporting the 12.5 operational level, but I think the capital expenditures and upgrades and additional fees, they should be dealt with as they happen basis. Because for us to go 17.5 and to know that we gave that money last year and it didn't even get spent, it just got put into a different account, and we're accumulating this money over there, that doesn't feel right. And I fully expected to see a punch list of, here's the 12 things we said we needed that 5,000 and 5,000 for. Here's what they cost, and here's what we did, and we got them all done. I haven't seen that.
Well,
But we've got 6,000 left.
And the cameras, those are the 2 big items that were done.
That wasn't even on the list last year,
Right.
the cameras. That was an add-on. So I guess it seems like and I warned everybody last year, we set a new high water mark at 17.5, and it's hard to take it back. But that 17.5 was 12.5 and a $5,000 provisional increase for last year. It now becomes memorialized as permanent going forward, with the thought that it could be an additional 10 if we decide to hire a park manager. Now we're up to 30,000 for what used to be 10,000 2 years ago. That seems expensive. I'm more than happy to go to 12.5. The rest I struggle with.
Yeah, I think the expenditures, Mike, is that you won't meet the sustainment.
Do you mind if I address that question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Would you like me to come?
Yes.
And so I recognize that concern. Some context behind what happened with the park board this year is we lost 2/3 of our board. We
Why?
had to really scale back the projects and the things that we could do to the bare minimum, because we simply did not have people to do much of anything but keep the lights on and keep the park running. So we couldn't do a lot of the planning and the purchasing and the things around, especially around the tennis courts that we wanted to do, like hiring a grant writer, spending some of those funds to work towards some of those projects. We simply didn't have the people to do that. So I just wanted to be able to address that for you.
The 10,000 last year was for, concrete and wood and real stuff. These were supposed to be capital expenditures for upgrades. There was a broken window in a bathroom. I remember that. I remember we needed new wood chips. We needed to fix all the park benches. And all that added up to 10,000. I don't know if those were all done.
Like I said, we simply could not do all of the items that we wanted to do because we were operating on a skeleton crew. And knowing that we had a big project plans that we wanted to do, we were really conservative with what we spent money on this year, knowing that we were not successful with moving forward with that grant, that we would need to use park board money to be able to move forward with that project. There was an impression that that was going to be 100% funded and we would not have to spend any of our funds towards doing that project, and that fell through, and we needed to really pause on money that we were spending, just like you would with your household budget. If you thought you were going to get something and you didn't get it, you put the brakes on spending as much as you can in order to conserve the monies that you have available.
You have 6,000 left of the 10,000. So either, to me, you can refund that 3,000 of that back to us, or it goes in your account, or it goes back into our general fund account. I feel more comfortable with it in our general fund account. I don't know that we are donating money for you to develop a war chest in the park department.
That's certainly
just
not
my
what
opinion.
we're trying to do, is develop a war chest with $5,000.
I have a question. So you're the chairman of the park board. Who do you report to?
I don't report to anyone or the
Who
chair.
tells you,
We operate by the bylaws and the ordinance.
okay. I'm gonna make this statement that I talk to a lot of people, why your 2/3 of your people resigned. I'm gonna make this comment. Everybody told me it was because of that manager up there that drove them out. I just wanted to know, is he involved at all in that park? Well, then he needs to stay out of it. That's my 2 cents there. I've heard that from many of the people. They said they'd love to be there. The people were great, but he drove them out. So I kind of agree with Mike. I'd stick to the 12.5 right now. That's my position. But
So we presented a budget that shows, with the contributions from the two boards at 17.5, what we would spend the money on this year, what the different categories would go to. Again, that's just keeping the lights on, keeping the grass cut, fixing some things as they break, planting a few trees here and there. This is not like,
And-
a lot of projects.
Another thing that I see is the maintenance out there. It's done by the DPW, which is, to me, I think it's a double dip when they have to go out and mow the lawn. I know somebody that was on the park board, that asked for something to be broke down. And every time somebody got on a lawnmower, if it was the superintendent down there, they got paid $45 an hour to run the mower. Or you got some summer help that got paid $18. Years ago, it used to be have somebody go do it, like yard services or Josh or something like that. Is that a money saving thing? I don't know.
Would have to contract out that service.
Right,
as
right, I
opposed to
understand that.
having
I'm just
DPW.
saying that the village is paid by the hour anyway. Then they go out and they mow the lawn, and we have to pay them to do that, even though they're getting paid hourly.
It's the same as any other fund. When they work on the streets, that gets charged to the streets fund. If they're working on water and sewer, that gets charged to water and sewer. When they work in the park, those charges go to the park fund. That's just general municipal finance and how it works.
The park manager, which I firmly believe that is really the only way to get traction going and have the park board become more robust and grow. We have to get a whole different structure.
Yes.
Yeah, and so if we pitch in the 10,200, and the village does also, what do you see? Will they need office space, or how do you see that?
So we have an office on the village side that our OEO uses, but that person is only working 6 or 7 hours a week. There's enough space in that office to house both.
Okay.
Both of those
Would
people.
would the village charge rent to that park person?
We have not discussed that.
Because that,
Likely.
it wouldn't,
It's
that
not a
would
big
be,
office, so
that would
if you're
be-
going by square feet, I'm not sure.
that would be very unfortunate if that, because we have enough, we could freely, save you a little bit of money, with that. So I'm just trying to think,
What do you mean you could save?
well, by not charging
Right.
rent, that could save some money
would be
right there.
That would be my ask.
Okay, okay.
So do you guys contract anything? It looks like an awful lot of, kind of like what Randy said. A lot of these are cost allocations that end up reimbursing the village for work that they're doing on behalf of the park. Do you guys get bids? Do you go out and look for a lawn cutting service or a contractor?
It has not been done in the time I have.
Lawn cutting service or a contractor?
It has not been done in the time I have returned to the board, which has only been 2.5, 3 years. I know that they had looked at costs before, but I can't tell you the specifics on how that shook out. And I would like to say too that DPW does a lot that we don't get charged for because they are right there. They can see if there's an issue. It's no problem for them to run over and take care of a few things. They do much, much more for us than it would be for just like contracting out grass services. They're opening and closing our bathrooms, restocking supplies, doing cleanup. Like they're doing things that if we were to contract out each of those would be a long punch list of things. One of the concepts for the park manager position is that we wouldn't need to rely on DPW to do those more like minor tasks. We would still want to use them for cutting the lawn, plowing the sidewalk, that sort of thing. But a park manager could be there stocking the bathrooms, checking after rentals, making sure that the park looks okay, as opposed to paying a little bit more for DPW services. So that is one thing that we could see as a benefit to not having to pay that elevated cost. So we would just be paying one part-time person to do some of those other things that DPW is helping us do.
So the budget, it would be, you'd be offsetting the cost of the new manager because your reduction in,
No, we don't
cost.
know that for sure, and I think that's part of why Dennis really was advocating for starting small and then building our way up. We originally had talked about a 30-hour week position, and then we kind of kept scaling that back, trying to keep costs lower, kind of give us some room to grow to see how that position works out. Part of it might depend on the person and what their skill set is. Is this a person who likes to get their hands dirty and work outside a lot and can fix a lot of things? Or is this person someone who's going to be writing grants and getting money for us to help offset some of those other costs that we can move forward with projects on?
it just seems to me that an awful lot of this is aspirational, but it isn't real yet.
And it has
the
to
money
be.
we give you is real. I mean, and we gave you 6,000 too much last year. I struggle with, I mean, if you guys, you're talking about tearing out the tennis courts or whatever it is, your big project of the year, but that's been talked about since I got on this board.
It's been talked about since I've been on council.
It'll be next year too.
10
They'll say, well, we
years
want
ago.
to tear out the tennis courts.
But that's why we really feel that a park manager is important, because with relying on volunteers, there's no time for someone to go seek out bids and get contracts and try to like do that diligent work to cut costs and run and move things forward. Because right now we're 4 people trying to keep this park running, and everyone who serves on any board or works with the schools knows that it is near impossible to get people to volunteer to show up consistently. And Kim can attest to that. When she got on the board, we're like, okay, here are your jobs that you're going to do for us. And when you're doing that, it's really, really hard to plan for the future. When you are just trying to keep things going, working full time, having a family, doing all of these other things, there's not a lot of time to, dig into those projects and get different contracts and get bids when you just don't have the time to do that. And so that is how we see as this park manager could be seeking out and getting funding for a lot of things that we'd like to do. Whereas, we just don't have the capacity to do that. And if there's anyone who would like to serve on park board, we are actively seeking members. And you can see how fun.
Do we know if the 8,000 people in Almont Township want the park expanded and improved and increased, or do they want it to just hold status quo?
Well, that's what your 12.5 would do, Mike. If 12.5 from here and 12.5 from the village would not even sustain the park, and I think you can see that in those figures. You're right, 12.5 held that park to get the grass mowed and the leaves picked up and the branches cut. But there's no growth. This board and the village board has got to decide, based on a survey that we did for the master plan, there's an interest in activities in that park. And water
absolutely.
came up a lot. The pickleball courts come up. Sure. We know the basketball court's being used, but it's like a quarter of a court, even high school dimensions. So if the village board and the township board just wants to sustain the park, 12.5 ain't gonna do it. So and you can see that in the way the money was spent, okay? So the money you're talking about, like I said, we had $49,000 as of July 1st of 25. The $6,000 that you're talking about was extra. We have a balance of $55,000 in the budget. That is where the money went, okay? So the money's not going anywhere, it's set in the park budget. So it's up to this board, it's up to the village board. I think there's some interest in getting activities going in that park and enhancing that park. Besides planting trees, replacing mulch, we can't even do anything with the ice skating rink. That liner is shot, it leaked like crazy last year. The building that holds it fell apart. So the park manager, if we had a park manager, would take the load off the volunteers to progress and try to get some activities in the park. We talked to the village manager and a township supervisor. They would be the overseers for that park manager. But if you just want to mow the lawn and pick up sticks, 12.5 won't do that.
And I will say that the village, upon my request over the years, has contributed more. If you look back in FY23, FY24, I believe, village did put in more than 12.5, and that did allow the park to renovate the bathrooms and improve them. If you saw them before and after, you would have noticed a significant difference in what those bathrooms looked like. It also allowed the park pavilion to be expanded to allow for a better experience for music in the park, as well as for our renters. So we have people that use the park all the time. The number one thing I hear from people is, why does our park look so bad? Why are these tennis courts sitting here looking so terrible? Why don't we have better playground equipment? Why isn't the ball field looking better? It's because 12.5 has been the number for years. Gary, I don't know if you even know, 10, 15, years. 20 years? It's
2 years. It was 10. We raised it to 12.5 2 years ago.
I don't know if that's true, but I'm happy to look at it. But everything else has gone up. I mean, the cost of fuel, the cost just to cut the grass, that goes up. Everything has gone up. But our park budget stayed stagnant for a long time, and I appreciate that both boards kicked in extra last year. It gave us some breathing room, but again, we didn't have the capacity to do much, and we wanted to be able to be conservative, so we would have money to work on the tennis courts.
And don't you think that there was such a generational change because the volunteers that were so heavily invested and were dedicating so much of their time are all elderly, and so many are no longer here. And there was a cost value to all that volunteer.
Roberta did a tremendous amount.
She did, and there's a value, and so that's why I think that maybe things are stagnant, because, like I said, it's a different generational time. Everybody's pulls and draws are different, and we are missing out on we miss a huge resource, and we appreciated them when they were there. Maybe we didn't appreciate them enough, you know. And I know that our son and our grandchildren were up at the park yesterday playing around, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but the first graders had the park on their list as a walking field trip this past week. So all the lineup of all the first graders were in the park. So it does need some help. I was hoping that maybe the park manager could be very involved, very hands-on. A lot of this, stuff could be taken off the backs of the very few volunteers that are left. There's a cost to this. This isn't free. So that's where I am with it. We do own it in conjunction with the village. I'm not, I wish that things were moving faster and we were able to see more improvement, but we're at the point that we can get on the ground level and be part of the start of that, to see the change. Like, it has to start somewhere and it has to get some traction. And I don't know, I think it takes a little bit of money and a park manager. I think that would be a good first step, because we don't have the volunteers and the time.
So Dennis, you're looking for 2 motions.
I thought 3.
I think there's 3 here, Gary. I think the township portion of the budget, the 17.5. I think the township and the village have to authorize the park board to go hire or recruit a park manager, and then pay that park manager. That our portion would be 10.2. I think there's 3 motions there.
And I will say I presented this to village council at our budget workshop, and they're in full agreement on 17.5 and paying the half of the township position. Of course, we haven't voted on it yet because that was just our budget workshop, not our budget hearing, but that will take place soon.
Yeah, I'm prepared to make a motion. I'll move to, I move to approve the township contribution to the Almont Community Park at 17.5 in accordance with the proposed park budget dated 4 June 26, contingent upon the village council matching or exceeding the 17.5.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor with support to donate $17,500 to the park board. Do you have any further discussion from the board?
17.5 gets us the fixed ice rink building and the ice rink, that
I think
17.5.
it'll do a lot for that, Bonnie. Yeah.
It will also depend on whether or not we need to, or we're moving forward on the tennis court project and when, and where that would be placed.
I chose that we would sustain the 25% matching fee for any grant that we go after at the 56,000, depending on where it comes at.
I didn't, but Dennis has got it, if you want to read it again.
Okay, so we've got a motion on the floor with support. Let's do a roll call vote.
Swears?
Yes.
Streeter?
Yes.
Grosbeck?
Yes.
Kraus? Yes. Eschenberg?
No.
Dodge?
No.
Chris?
No.
We got
4 to 3.
Okay, motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What else have you got, Dennis?
But I would move to approve the park board to go out and establish a park manager's job position and hire a park manager at a cost of $20,400 annually for the township to pay half of that at $10,200 contingent on the village council approval and village council's half at 10-2. We'll make it 2 motions.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have support?
Support.
We have support.
So, okay, can I ask a question? What is the total that we are increasing our amount to them? 17.5 plus 10,000? So almost $28,000.
Separate dollar figures of 2
Right.
motions. 2 separate motions.
In this document that you wrote up here, in regards to who is going to manage him, it's between the supervisor and the village manager?
Those are details, I think, Randy, we can.
I made a comment before, the village manager is trouble in this, and I can't go for that with his name there.
Okay.
That's my position on it. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. I've had too many people tell me that he ran him out of town, and I'm there to support that, and I don't need it to happen anymore.
I agree with Randy. I don't think that, I think there needs to be a different leadership structure, because I would not be in favor of the village manager. Mindy, would you do it?
So something that we did discuss during our park board meeting, and this of course would need to be written into our bylaws. So there would be opportunity to provide comment on that role. And, bylaws would be discussed and passed by park board and then come to both boards for approval. So you would definitely have an opportunity to provide input. And I think my perfect scenario, envision it a little bit closer to how the DDA board or the DDA director operates, where the director serves at the pleasure of the board. There are some administrative functions that have to take place within the village, such as processing payroll, reimbursement for mileage, providing the computer services, that sort of thing. I see that as coming from the village. I would also want the township to be able to have input. So I think that is something that we can work out, and, appreciate your comments on that.
So I think it's just putting more meat on the bones, Randy. I agree with you. We can work that out. And I think we still have some work on the job description.
Yeah,
We're not going to go any further with that. If this board and the other board are not going to agree to do it, we're not going to waste any more time.
You have a village manager that doesn't even live here and has nothing in Almont, and I'd rather see her lead this ship down the road. I mean.
Well, she'd do a good job.
And I'm not saying she couldn't.
I think that could be a deal breaker if that isn't seriously looked at.
And I think,
It seems premature to even vote on this at this point.
Right.
We don't have a
Yeah.
job description, we don't have a clear scope.
do you see, so where we sort of have the chicken and the egg is that we're hesitant. We've spent a lot of time talking this through a lot of meetings, is how much farther we want to take this without seeing some support for the dollar figures. So I don't know if you can make a vote on this, but if you can say, yes, we agree in concept and the dollar amount, move forward with the structure, I think that gives us on the board a little more comfort on let's keep going. As I keep saying, we have a very limited capacity to what we can actually do and how much we can dedicate towards this if we don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
So Dennis's motion was not supported. I didn't hear his support today.
I did support that.
I think you can move forward with the 10-2.
Okay.
To fund the manager's position. Who that person reports to can be worked out.
You could add something to your motion, says contingent upon a leadership restructure in the bylaws. And then we at least pass it. We know we have to address that,
And
but
then
at least
it's-
the money is guaranteed.
And then
And the board
it's in
knows
your
that.
budget.
Yeah.
And then I think that would be helpful because then I can have I can have village move forward, showing the financial commitment is there.
Even though it's contingent upon us addressing our concerns
Park
with the leadership.
bylaws and supervision.
Yes. Did you want to amend your?
Structure your motion there.
Well, I don't disagree with what Mike said, and I like Mindy's plan. We would bring that back. We would make the money available. We would put more meat on the bones and come back to both the council and the township board with a better job description for Mike's suggestion. I'm good with that.
And supervisory structure, I think that was
Yeah,
the
that's
concern.
all the stuff that needs to get
Right.
laid out.
Until the grant gets here, or until the project is actually formulated and identified and scoped and everything, which I think the board signed up to do, I don't think you need somebody to manage it yet. That's my opinion. You were putting the cart before the horse.
It's not only this grant, as Kim and Dennis can attest to, it's the day-to-day running of the park that volunteers are trying to do right now.
Do the volunteers not want to do it because they don't have time, or do they not want to do it because they're not getting paid to do it?
It is an only time. We have 4 board members.
So if one of the board members was offered $500 or $1,000 to take over music in the park,
I can't even see
They're
that
not-
happening. Because it's not just that. It's organizing the events, it's inspecting bathrooms and the kitchen after rentals. It's the planning and organizing of things, researching grants, looking up contracts. It's more than we can do.
I mean, kind of like Heritage Festival, right? They paid someone to do the vendors, they paid them a stipend outside of being a DDA member, and then they paid someone to do the car show, same thing. Then somebody actually steps up, does the work.
It's not a matter of dollars. I can 100% speak for myself. It is not
Right.
dollars.
And if I could just chime in, you have professional people. Mindy's a professional, with a corporate, and Jennifer's works for GM, and Dennis is busy, and then you have a new member at large. I think she's been on like 2 a month. It is truly not about the money. It is strictly time and the ability to dedicate what is needed. And I don't think adding money to do it. But if you were the park manager, then that is going to get the job done. To circle back around it, that's what we need. Somebody who that is their job.
Yeah, and it's their responsibility too.
Right.
Is they have a task that they need to accomplish.
Right.
And get them done. When you rely on volunteers, their family, their work, they have other priorities that are going to have to take precedence when it's your job. You're accountable, and these are the tasks that you need to get done.
That's what I meant by that, where you're paid to do that. That's your piece of the pie.
Yeah, there's
Paying $20,000 to manage a $35,000 budget. I'm not seeing it.
You can always give us more budget.
I'm just saying, $35,000 budget, of which last year you spent
But
$29.
to manage a $200,000 project,
There is no $200,000 project right now.
Right.
When it comes, I'd be more than happy to look at it. Right now, today, you failed twice on getting that $200,000. There is no $200,000 project out there.
and
But it's a stalking
like
horse
I-
every year to get additional money.
like I say, it's a chicken and the egg. We have been spinning our wheels for years, trying to get grants. We don't have a dedicated person to move things through, and that's
Gonna
why.
have one in about 3 weeks.
The park manager, the way I see it, is
I will know
basically
everything there
taking
is
the
to know
place of
about
the
grants in
volunteers.
3 weeks.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
The park manager is basically taking the place of the volunteers that you don't have. They're
Yeah,
going to
and
do those
similar
tasks.
to how DDA works.
Right.
They have a director, she organizes the activities, secures the vendors. She does that work. She still needs volunteers.
Right.
But that person recruits volunteers, sets it all up, divvies out the tasks, and, I'm still willing to serve and help. But I can't run the park.
What is the director of the DDA get paid?
50 now.
I don't
It
know
was
off the top of my
50.
head, but she's,
50,000 a year?
It's
she's
substantial.
full-time.
Yeah.
That just changed like 2 years ago. It's been 20,000
Yeah.
for,
50,000. Well, I'll withdraw my motion and we'll just go by the consensus of the township to request the park board come back with more meat and process information on the park manager's position. And the 10-5 or the 10-2 looks favorable at this point.
I would agree with that.
Pending more details on the job description and the processes to the
Yeah, and the leadership structure.
leadership structure. I agree. Okay.
Going to withdraw the motion.
Yes.
So just a question, you mentioned that the DDA director gets $50,000. Would she be interested in a little side job maybe, or something like that? Pick
She's
up?
more than willing to apply. Apply.
All right.
I mean, she has a full-time position now. I don't know if she's willing to tack on 20 to 10 more hours.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Item number 6, signers at Tri-County Bank. That's Kimberly.
Yeah, basically, that we just needed a legal motion to change the bank signers from Jenny and John, the past clerk and deputy clerk, to the new clerk and the new deputy clerk. So I have a motion. I move to approve removing Jenny Hennigy and Jennifer Hellebuck as signers at Tri-County Bank and add Bonnie Kraus and Cynthia Greenia in their new positions as clerk and deputy clerk as signers at Tri-County Bank effective June 1, 2026.
What was the first part?
I move to approve removing Jenny Hennigy and Jennifer
Okay,
Hellebuck
okay.
as signers.
I got it.
I just have to show them coming off
Right,
and
no.
then one's going in.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's my motion.
support.
We got a motion on the floor with support. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, 8, 9, and 10 are salary resolutions for clerk, treasurer, supervisor, and trustees. Originally, we had a resolution document composed for each position using a cost of living of 2.5%. However, I had some discussion with Mr. Chris this afternoon or this morning, and I think we agreed that we would use the Social Security inflation rate, if you will, which is 2.8%. Okay. So what we're offering here is a 2.8% raise for the clerk, which would bring her salary to $48,418. 2.8% raise for the treasurer would bring her salary to $40,765.34. 2.8% raise for the supervisor would bring that salary to $32,882. And a 2.8% raise for our trustees, which would bring that salary to $6,975. So
the resolutions all say 2.5,
they all say 2.5.
but that's been changed then.
It's been changed to
Okay.
2.8, yes, sir.
Okay.
So we can handle this, I guess, the way you want to handle it, either individual motions or one motion encompassing them all. It's your pleasure.
Review your supervisors. At 2.5, you're showing 33,000. What was the 2.8?
0.8, right.
What did the 2.8 bring into here?
I'm sorry,
What did the 2.8 bring into?
32,882.
It's less.
Went down.
Went down. Well, yeah, the initial
salary rate for supervisor. Look it up there.
And I,
It's the wrong figure then.
and I think mine's too high.
It was 32,000.
I was gonna say,
Hey, we got some extra money for the park.
Mindy,
We found it.
I think mine's a little too high.
What, did we mess up here, Mike?
You said those are the actuals off the budget.
Right.
So whatever the budget says the salary is, you multiply it by
yours is too high?
1.028.
Mine started at 38.5, so if you had 2.8, now that everybody knows exactly what we get paid, and if anybody has any questions about any of this, this is all public information, so,
Started out at 38.5.
yeah,
right?
so if you,
So do the math then.
Times 1.028.
1,078. And just so everybody knows, we did not get any increase last year at all. So this is very appreciated.
What was that number?
1.028.
1.028.
Times the current salary will give you the new salary.
It's not.
new treasurer would be 39,578.
What are you getting, Rick?
39,578, using the 38.5 that's in the current 25-26 budget with a
38.5, right.
Yep, 38.5 times 1.028.
Is, what was the number?
39,578. And then supervisor would be
You're down for 39,655.
times
appreciate
1.028. Supervisor would be 32,896, which is, the current is 32,000. And then clerk is
32,000.
What is yours, Rick? What is the supervisor's?
32,896.
2,896. And
96.
clerk would be 47,008.
Okay.
And trustee?
I'm treasurer, you're supposed to have this all figured.
You know what? You will laugh. I bought this at the dollar store, and it is very much a dollar store calculator. I don't think it's working. It's not coming up with the numbers.
Where's the,
Lesson learned for me.
Treasurers are under salaries.
no, I'm looking for trustee. Oh,
It's got to be under governing body, I'm thinking,
Right,
right?
it's under,
Right.
Have an individual annual for the trustees, I don't think.
no.
All right. Does 5,800 sound right per year? Does that sound like what you're getting now?
I don't know.
Look at your bill run and take a look at mine, multiply it by 12.
Because that's what I grabbed, what we had. So let me double check.
32,896.
Yeah. So is it the activity or is it the actual budget? Because the budget number is 25,000, but that's for all four.
Yeah, but then Dennis's is higher because he gets paid to be on the planning commission. I think that's included in that total for us. So if you take mine,
I don't think that's,
565.49. 565.
Yeah, it should be in the trust.
don't you have that health in there though?
That probably comes out of planning.
Yeah, everybody's is different.
Yeah, exactly. So
Monthly, it should be 581.
So I came up with what did you come up with?
581
$30 per month.
Mm-hmm.
times 12, 6,975.
They're-
Which is the number that I had. Yeah.
For trustees, but I don't know.
So the 2.8 took it to 6.9.
Guys, I'm gonna go online to the minutes from last year to see what exactly we did.
How about we just word it that we're doing an increase of 2.8% to match up with COLA?
Correct.
So
So the current numbers.
I'll make that motion. Did
I'll
you make a
support.
motion yet?
I'll support.
Okay, a motion to apply the Social Security standard annual cost of living increase of 2.8% to the salaries of the board, the treasurer, the the clerk, and the supervisor.
Okay, I'm coming up with dollar figures here. Did you guys figure out the dollar figures?
We did with the exception of the trustees.
47,008, is that for clerk?
Yes,
39,578 for treasurer?
yes.
32,896 for supervisor.
Yes. What do you got for trustee?
Now we got the trustees.
Well, that was the only one that we were paused on.
Okay.
Gary, the motion that Mike made was just to increase the 2.8%. So whatever it is today,
Yeah.
plus 2.8%.
We can put the numbers in and the numbers will be in the
Okay.
minutes then.
You
I think that's
made the
fair.
motion?
Mike made a motion and I seconded it.
Supported
I
it.
did, not that I really need
Okay,
it.
any further discussion on that?
And that applies to the clerk, the treasurer, the supervisor, and the trustees.
Trustee, all right,
Yep.
good.
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay.
Good grief.
Sorry for that confusion.
That's all right.
Okay.
Do we want to do the same thing for number 11?
Yeah, I have a motion for that one. I move to approve a cost of living allowance of 2.8% for the 2026-2027 fiscal year for township employees per the Almont Township Human Resources Manual.
Support.
You have a motion on the floor with support.
Do we want to say who that includes or just leave it at that?
Per the manual, because we have the jobs listed in there. So that should cover us.
Okay, reference the hourly rates for employees and the COLA.
I have the motion. I'll get the motion to you.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, police contract.
I think it needs to be, I think we need to wait until we get something back from the village with the changes, per
With
Bob
this
Seaver's
being given
letter.
to us on Friday at the last minute,
Right,
I agree that these suggestions from our legal needs to be addressed.
right.
And I don't think we need to sit here and argue about it for 15 minutes. I think it's time to.
Table it, and I guess,
And this needs to go there. I'd like to know who changed the agreement,
well, we could guess.
the Three Amigos.
Would the board,
It doesn't matter.
would this
Why?
board,
I guess my question is though, did they have somebody legally do this? And then he hasn't even seen it yet.
Would it be prudent for this board to forward
I
all
will
the,
take that to the village tomorrow, so we'll table it for tonight.
Yes, I
And
agree.
we'll have to have a special meeting, okay?
We will.
would it be a wise decision for this board to email the complete village council these two documents so
They
that
should
they are in the
already-
loop, or they do not have this information?
Just, if they could just give us a red line,
Okay,
there should be an easy red line document that shows any changes. I mean, we found a couple of them, a few of them. Shall and should. If
yeah.
my dad told me I should clean up my room and my mom said, you shall clean up your room, that's a difference. The shall has
Yeah. Well,
weight. So, I mean, those are
right.
things that
Well,
red
just
line would pick that up.
in the interest of transparency, I didn't know if if this board wanted the whole village council to be in the loop and have the same information.
All right, we'll get on that.
We can
tomorrow.
talk about it.
I just wanted to add for the spec, because it will require a special meeting so that we
Yes.
get that contract before the current one expires. I'm available the next 3 Tuesdays.
The next
Only.
3 Tuesdays?
Yes.
Okay.
I could potentially do next Monday. Yeah. The 15th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. I come home for a day.
Text that to me,
I will.
okay?
Yep.
All right, we'll move on then. Property tax collection resolution.
No, this is me. Okay. It's basically simply updating who is allowed to receive payments at the window. Obviously, just to remind everybody, the only people that can take cash or process the payments into the system are me and my deputy. But we do need some extra help at the window, simply just collecting checks and things like that. So we're naming the supervisor, deputy supervisor, clerk, and deputy clerk to those roles. So with that being said, I'd like to move to approve resolution 2026-002 as presented.
Support.
Okay, got a motion on the floor with support. Any further discussion from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. Budget amendments. Should all have a copy of, Bonnie put this together, by the way. The fire fund, original budget was $71,596, and that was, back there, fire budget there.
Department 339 under 206.
Okay, that was for firefighting, firefighting itself, because they've got firefighting and other firefighting activities, so that's the firefighting. 71,596, budget amendment is 9,694. Okay, so would it be amended to 81,290? Okay. The other budget amendment is for the planning commission. Original budget of 15,880. We want to amend it to 23,420. It's a $7,540 change. Cemetery maintenance, 29,700. Amended budget is 34,840, a $5,000 change for a total of 22,374.
What cemetery is that referring to?
That's both of them. All of them.
Webster, Ferguson, Sandhill, Scott Settlement.
Yes.
Just for information, right? I mean, that's just a budget adjustment.
I'm sorry?
You don't need to vote on that?
Yeah, we have to vote.
Yeah, we have to vote on a budget amendment, yes.
So I have a question on the planning commission one. It's just a budget amendment of 7540, but we have quite a bit more than that alone into the solar ordinance. And we had another 24 or something into the ordinance rewrite, right? Why is the adjustment only $7,400? We've spent 35.
So the department, it's the department that has to be in balance at the end of the year. And that's where we're off, we're off the budget, the total planning for, this was 15,880, and we've spent 23,417.
So we haven't paid for the ordinance yet.
Ordinance rewrite, no.
Okay.
Haven't launched it yet.
No, but the professional contractual services, we was budgeted for 6,000, we've spent 14,757. So we just need to amend this to cover our expenses for the
Right.
end of the fiscal year.
Yeah,
which is-
I'm just trying to get my head around what the expenses are.
It looks pretty much like it is the professional contractual services line item.
I guess I make a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor with support to approve the budget amendments as presented with support. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That, Bonnie, when it shows department you had under planning and zoning, that's actually the planning commission. Not the
Okay,
not a big deal.
okay.
Okay. Rezoning of parcel number 44-001-016-023-000. That's the little lot there on the northeast corner of Tum Spring and Van Dyke, which has been zoned industrial. The owner of that property made an application to the planning commission for a rezoning to commercial 1. Apparently he wants to put in a fast food restaurant. I think it's a Taco Bell, from what I've heard. So the planning commission recommended that change in zoning, and they sent it up to the board for our scrutiny.
So it's currently zoned industrial, almost a spot zone, so there by itself. The planning commission found in standard B that the property could not be used as currently zoned, how it got zoned like that. I thought the whole corridor all the way up to the fire department was zoned industrial, but it's not. So I don't know how that happened, but the property, planning commission found in favor of standard B that the property could not be reasonably used as currently zoned. If that map's correct. That's what it showed.
Yeah, I would have bet a lot of money on that it was
So
all.
it's a C1 proposed from the planning commission, that the board convert that to C1 versus I. It's a really low intense, whatever it is. Right now it's proposed for Taco Bell, but. So you're surrounded on the north side by ag residential, on the south side is commercial with the bank. And then east is apparently ag residential, mostly residential.
I think that property's been perpetually for sale for 25 years.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the board's pleasure.
City water and sewer.
How are they gonna do that? I don't know. That's up to them. We're just
It's in the-
rezoning it. I don't know what it's gonna be. They're proposing a Taco Bell.
It's in the township, so it's not available.
Bill across the street. The health department will look at that.
I make a motion to approve the rezoning of parcel 44-001-016-023-00 at Tub Spring and Van Dyke from industrial to C1 commercial.
Support.
Motion on the floor with support to rezone parcel 44-001-016-023-00 from industrial to commercial. Any further questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion is approved. Change of fee for grade foundations. Mr. Kowinski, who's our sexton, has changed his precast foundation from 75 cents per square inch to 85 cents per square inch. Cost of cement, I guess, is going up. So, being that that is on his approved schedule of costs, we felt it necessary to bring it to the board and let them approve or disapprove that request.
Is that the only change?
Only change so far.
Yes. I make a motion to increase the precast foundation charge from 75 cents to 85 cents per square inch as the rate for Ferguson, Sand Hill, Scotch Settlement, and Webster Cemetery fee schedule.
Support.
Okay, motion on the floor with support to change the fee for the grade foundations to 85 cents per square inch. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That concludes new business, public comment. Anything from the public? If not, we'll move on to correspondence. I have none. Board discussion? Anything from the board?
Update on roads. There's supposed to be roadside mowing, maybe tomorrow or the next day.
They put it in the ditch.
Yeah, I know. Somebody called me and I was supposed to go pull them out and I wasn't around. The tube for Shoemaker out there, that big expense, the tube is either dropped off today or it's gonna be dropped off tomorrow out there for that. So that project's gonna be going. Also too, the bumps on Dryden Road. Bumps on Dryden Road, yeah. They're settling down, they're doing their best to keep it up. That road's gonna be blacktopped in July, all the way to the county line. I found that out. That's why they replaced all those cross culverts. And also, limestone is gonna be starting after the 4th of July on the roads.
And that's on the east side of Van Dyke and Huff, correct?
Yeah, you live on the west side.
I know. That's what
I told them don't go over there.
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
Just something that caught my eye. Did anybody see this in the paper from the village of Almont?
No, what is it?
What is it? Huh?
No.
It's where, it's to the electors and taxpayers of the village. They're gonna go out and look for $2.5 million worth of bonds for the DPW. I know. But I'm sure everybody's taxes are gonna go up, so I thought somebody should put this on social media to give maybe the village a little taste of what it's like here. But in here, the thing of it is that the bonds will be issued without a vote of the electors unless a petition requesting such a vote signed by not less than 10% of the registered electors. So in other words, if they're just gonna go ahead and do it.
It's a financing option. So posting the public notice gives the village.
Right, but if the electors, if there's a petition that takes the control out of the hands of the I'm not gonna say the village council, I'm gonna say the Three Amigos. But anyways, I don't care. That's all I have.
I have a couple of things too. And we talked about this. This sounds like it's doable. And we'll get a chance to try it out. We have a special meeting coming up. If we can make sure that special meeting notifications go right on the first page of our website so that when they happen, people don't have to search through 5 clicks and get all the way back to the trustee page and the agenda and all that to find it. If there's a special meeting, if we could just have it openly displayed, so as soon as they see there's a
Yeah,
special meeting.
and we talked about that. We're gonna put that under the announcement.
And,
Section of first
and a
thing
night meeting,
People see.
Pardon?
a night meeting,
Night meeting.
night, yes.
Yeah.
2 other things, if Don's still here, I happened to be somewhere with, and I saw a couple of the folks from DTE. They are fully prepared to come in and talk to you about fire run costs. They'll give you the guidelines of everything that is possible and what you can do. So whenever you want, let me know. I'll have them come in and you can figure out how that plan works. They're more than happy to talk to you about it.
I appreciate that.
Yep, and Comcast, I've been talking to them every couple of months. The month of August, they would like us to begin thinking about putting together a special meeting for them to provide all of their plans for Wi-Fi expansion in Almont. They said they feel by then they'll have the detail that everybody wants, like streets and dates and methodologies and all that stuff. So just, some of us have different schedules and calendars than others. We need to think about putting that meeting together so residents they can go to their address and say, am I going to get it when, and all that. It'll be enough detail to make them all happy. Okay? So
We can link that.
What?
We can link all that information from our website too.
Okay.
If they have everything.
That's all I had.
Well, by any chance, we can get some relief from all the communication wires that are currently just debris hanging on the poles. In the village as well as the township, there is stuff everywhere, and nobody owns it anymore.
They just walk away from it, don't they, Don?
What's that?
They just walk away from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just leave it.
You look on Almont Road, you're about to push 2 poles over into the line of traffic because of the tension on cables that the trees have grown.
And they probably don't do anything.
They don't even call them, you just cut them off, no one cares.
Yeah, so there was always the theory of cut it and then wait 10 minutes and see who comes out yelling, who's
So there's a pole hanging
responsible.
by the library, it's been hanging there for 2 years.
Yeah.
No one ever came.
So they do have all the master information on that. And if it's a company that's out of business, they can probably identify that for you. So I'll have that group circle in and we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Is that line by the library the one with all the ivy hanging off of it? That's, I thought so.
That pole's been like that, 2 years is probably a mile less than.
Oh, boy.
There was a car right there, we cut the pole off, no one cares, it just hangs.
Okay.
I had a couple of comments about the building department. There seems to be some people there taking liberties with things that are agreed upon and then sending other things out to the employees. This brotherly war that's going on with the sign driving around, I'm ready for CCA. It's a professional environment, and they are not running a professional environment there. That it's a disservice to our residents. They're acting like clowns.
Well, I think they're doing a good job with the exception of one individual who's causing some issues. I don't have any complaints. I have not had one complaint on our building official or our clerk.
Our building official is the one that took it upon himself to send out documentation that was not what this
That is
group
an
agreed
in-house
to.
issue that we will correct, okay, and it's being corrected. But your comments are recognized, Rick, okay?
I think the building department's doing a fine job. Like I said, we haven't had any complaints from homeowners, no complaints from contractors, builders. The only person that's complaining is the other half of that family, so.
Takes two to tango.
But whatever the board's pleasure is, I mean, that's
No, I'm
how it works.
just making a comment.
All right. Anything else? Okay. We have a motion to adjourn?
Sure, I'd make that motion to adjourn.
Or, all in favor?
Aye.
Whoa.
Mike? Thank you.